What if the most meaningful chapter of your life begins after 70, not with noise or rush, but with quiet strength, deep joy, and a kind of peace you never had time to feel before? They say life slows down after 70, that things become smaller, quieter, maybe even lonelier. But I've come to believe the opposite is true. Turning 70, for me, has been like stepping into the autumn of life. Not loud like summer, not bursting with bloom like spring, but filled with depth, warmth, and a beauty that takes its time to be seen. That's not to say it's easy. This age brings its own set of challenges: loss, health changes, silence in spaces that once felt full. But in that silence, I started to hear something else. My own voice, my own joy, whispering back. And slowly, I realized that happiness doesn't fade, it simply changes shape. I'm not a guru or a wellness expert. I'm just a woman who has felt lost before, who's wondered, what now? And the answer didn't come from big, dramatic changes. It came from the small things, the gentle habits that brought me home to myself, one quiet morning at a time. So in this video, I want to share 12 simple but powerful habits that have helped me, and many women I know, feel more grounded, more joyful, and more alive after 70. Some might already be familiar. Others might surprise you. But all of them carry one truth. You don't need to be younger to be happy, you just need to be here now. Let's begin. Part 1. The 12 Habits. 1. They begin each morning with a kind act toward themselves. Happy women over 70 don't rush into their mornings. They greet the day the way one would greet an old friend, slowly, kindly, without urgency. It could be stretching their arms toward the light, placing a hand on their heart, or whispering, "I'm grateful to wake up today." It doesn't have to be a fancy routine. Some read a devotional, some sip warm lemon water while staring out the window. For others, it's watering a houseplant or simply smoothing the sheets and taking 3 deep breaths. These women understand that the first few moments after waking shape the rhythm of the whole day. And by choosing tenderness over to-do lists, they give themselves the gift of calm before the world starts knocking. Don't go just yet. Habit 2 is even simpler, and it might just change how you breathe. Let's keep going. 2. They let nature in, even just a little. Whether it's sitting on the porch, walking barefoot in the grass, or cracking open a window to let the breeze drift in, they find a way to connect with the outdoors. Nature doesn't ask questions. It doesn't care what you look like or what hurts today. It simply offers sunlight, movement, and the reminder that life continues. One woman I know places her rocking chair by a window that faces a bird feeder. Another tends to her tomato plants with the same care she once gave her children. The happiest older women let nature be part of their healing, not just a backdrop. They know the power of vitamin D, but more than that, they know the power of feeling the wind on their face and thinking, "I'm still here," and that matters. 3. They stay curious, always learning, always wondering. They may not be memorizing poetry or mastering the latest gadgets, but their minds are wide open. These women stay interested in something, anything, that makes their hearts lean forward. They ask questions, they explore, they laugh at new ideas. Maybe they've taken up painting for the first time or learned how to send emojis to their grandchildren. Maybe they've started listening to podcasts about gardening, history, or even true crime. The point is, they don't let the world shrink around them. Their curiosity keeps them mentally agile, emotionally engaged, and spiritually awake. And that spark, it's contagious. For they dress with care, not for others but for themselves. There's a quiet confidence in women who get dressed for themselves. They don't do it for attention or approval. They do it because it changes how they feel about the day ahead. Even a simple pair of earrings or a soft sweater can say, "I showed up today, for me." One woman I spoke with wears her favorite necklace every Tuesday, just because it reminds her of her late sister. Another reaches for colorful scarves when she's feeling low. Dressing with intention doesn't mean being trendy, it means being thoughtful. These women don't stop showing up for themselves, even when no one's watching. That in itself is a kind of grace. 5. They speak less about what's wrong and more about what's right. The happiest women I know are not blind to life's problems. They've lived through losses, health scares, and all kinds of change. But they've made a conscious choice to notice the good. Instead of starting conversations with complaints, they look for something beautiful to mention, the way the hydrangeas are blooming this year, or how a child waved to them on their walk. They don't deny hardship, but they don't feed it either. They've learned that constant negativity drains the spirit. Gratitude, even for small things, replenishes it. It's not toxic positivity, it's emotional maturity. It's knowing that you don't have to ignore the pain, but you also don't have to let it run the show. 6. They move their bodies in loving ways. Forget gym memberships or punishing routines. These women move not to lose weight, but to stay connected to their bodies. A slow walk around the block, a gentle stretch in the living room, a little dancing while cleaning the kitchen, it all counts. They've learned that motion keeps pain at bay, helps digestion, boosts mood, and protects independence. But more than that, movement is a way of saying, thank you to the legs that still walk, the arms that still lift, the heart that still beats. Some days their knees ache or their energy lags, but they show up anyway, not perfectly, just consistently, and that's what makes all the difference. 7. They make a daily effort to connect with someone. Social media may not be their thing, but real connection is. Whether it's a call to a daughter, a note to a neighbor, or a smile shared with the grocery store clerk, they prioritize connection. Loneliness can creep in silently in our later years. The happiest women know how to gently push back. They build rituals around connection. A weekly phone call, a standing lunch, even waving at the same dog walker every morning. It's not about quantity, it's about intention. They understand that love doesn't disappear with age. It simply changes form, and every small connection is a thread in the fabric of a well-lived life. 8. They eat as an act of respect, not control. These women are not obsessed with calories or rules. They eat to nourish, not to restrict. A bowl of soup made from scratch, a warm slice of bread with olive oil, a handful of berries in the afternoon. They choose food that makes them feel steady, not sluggish. They've learned to listen to their bodies, to chew slowly, to eat with presence, not distraction, to stop when full, not stuffed. And they do it with respect for their digestion, for their energy, and for the miracle that is still being alive. 9. They feed their spirit in gentle, personal ways. Prayer, meditation, music, poetry, time spent near water. These are the soul vitamins they don't skip. Every woman has her own way. Some light candles, others journal their thoughts. Some walk in silence at sunrise. What matters isn't the method, it's the meaning. These women tend to their inner world as lovingly as they tend to their homes, because they know that when the spirit is grounded, the rest of life feels less chaotic. They're not seeking perfection. They're simply making space for reflection, for breath, for stillness. 10. They practice the art of letting go. Forgiveness is not something they talk about much, but you can feel it in the way they carry themselves. Their hearts are lighter, their eyes softer. They've stopped keeping score. They've stopped rehashing old wounds, not because the hurt didn't matter, but because carrying it became too heavy. They forgive their younger selves. They forgive family members who couldn't show up. They forgive friends who faded away. And in doing so, they free up room inside, room for peace, for laughter, for joy. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's emotional wisdom. 11. They make space for laughter every single day. The happiest women I've met don't wait for joy, they cultivate it. They rewatch their favorite comedies. They read the funny pages. They laugh at themselves when they spill coffee on their shirt. They know that humor is medicine, that silliness is sacred. That laughing until you cry with someone you love is one of life's purest blessings. Even on hard days, they find something light. A memory, a child's drawing. A dog chasing its tail. Because joy isn't always loud, sometimes, it's just a quiet smile at how beautifully absurd life can be. 12. They end the day with gratitude. As the day winds down, they don't scroll or fret or mentally rewrite conversations. They pause, they reflect. They name 3 things, even just one that brought them peace, made them smile, or reminded them they're still loved. A warm blanket, a phone call, the scent of soap, a soft moonlight on the floor. Gratitude becomes their lullaby, soft, steady, grounding. Because when you end your day with thankfulness, your sleep deepens, your mind quiets, and your heart heals in small, steady ways. Part 2. It's never too late to feel alive. So here we are, 12 habits, simple and gentle, yet full of quiet power. They're not about turning back the clock or pretending life hasn't changed. They're about meeting this beautiful season of life with grace, presence, and a little spark of joy. You don't have to start all 12 today. Just try one. Maybe tomorrow morning you'll stretch a little slower. Maybe you'll call a friend, wear your favorite scarf, or step outside and feel the wind on your cheeks. That's enough. That's everything. Happiness after 70 doesn't come from chasing youth. It comes from honoring where you are, loving who you've become, and making space each day for peace, beauty, and laughter. These small choices, made again and again, create a life that feels full, warm, and deeply alive. If this video brought something soft or strong into your heart today, I hope you'll share it with another woman walking this path. Let's remind each other, we're not alone, we're not invisible, and our days still hold so much meaning. And I'd love to hear from you. Which habit will you try first? Leave me a comment below, because every story shared adds one more light to the circle. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of your heart, your spirit, and this day. You're still here, and that matters.